Hi, so I just want to do a quick update, hopefully it's quick anyway, and just talk a little bit about how to start this diet, especially if you're having some sort of a gastrointestinal issue, like colitis or Crohn's or diverticulitis or any of sort of irritable bowel syndrome, because as some of you may know, I have Crohn's disease. I've had it for about 20 years. And so any change to my diet is always a concern to me because I don't know how it will affect me. So I thought of doing this video because I have a cousin who has a young daughter who's maybe only 10 years old, and she's got pretty severe Crohn's disease and is really struggling with it. So I've been recommending this diet, and I got to chatting with her mom, and I was sort of trying to give her some advice, and I was thinking, probably be a good idea for me to do a video in case there's other people out there who kind of are relatively new to having an irritable bowel syndrome or some other ailment in the gut, and about changing your diet or starting your diet. So that's kind of the purpose of this video. I mean, it will probably help anyone who's just starting the diet in general, but my specific perspective is from that of having Crohn's disease and the fear of changing your diet. So the first bit of advice I want to give you is to just not really change your diet. And by not change your diet, what I mean is to simply just look at the no list and avoid those foods entirely. Now, obviously that's changing your diet because you won't be consuming the foods from the no list, but at least you won't be adding additional foods. So that's really the second point, is to not experiment with new or unknown foods that you haven't eaten on this diet. It's tempting to do because you're going to cut a whole bunch of food out of your diet, and then you're going to look at the yes list and maybe feel like you're kind of limited in what you can eat, and you're going to see all these recipes and maybe it's food you haven't tried yet. And I'm just saying, if you're suffering from some sort of a gut disease or gut issue, that's a risk. So I would say for at least 2, 3, 4 weeks, even 6 if you can, try and just stick with very familiar foods, ones that you know you can tolerate and ones that you know that aren't going to bother you or cause pain and all kinds of other issues. So if you just eliminate those foods, keep eating the foods on the yes list that you're comfortable with, that's the safest way to get on this diet without, creating too much risk in other areas. The second tip I'll give you is to do the diet 100% for as long as you can. Our goal initially was to do it for 6 weeks, 100%, no cheating. We did it probably close to 99% for 6 solid weeks. And I say that because from my own experience, even a little bit of going off diet can cause you issues and make you feel like the diet isn't even working, to be honest. One of the reasons I wanted to set up the lights like this and get nice bright light on my face is so that you could sort of see my skin. I don't know how well it's coming through on the video, but it's red and blotchy, irritated. My eyes are bothering me. My gut has been bloated and cramping and noisy. Because in addition to having Crohn's disease, I have skin issues. So when one flares up, the other one does. So that was kind of what I wanted to say. Do it 100%. Anything less, you may be at risk of not seeing if this diet will actually work for you. I know it works for me when I'm sticking to it. This past week, over the last several days, I've had, I got feeling so great. I think I got a little confidence that I could cheat on the diet a little. I ate some fast food a few days. I had some candy bars maybe 5 days of the week. I mean, it's near Halloween, so, and I'm paying for it now. I mean, even though I was probably doing the diet still 85%, I'm now paying for that 15% that I'm not. And to be honest with you, if this was all I had ever done, I don't think I would have ever said this diet worked for me. Only 15% off diet, maybe even less. So do it 100% because otherwise you won't really know. And you won't really be able to say, yes, avoiding these foods, I can feel fantastic. And then at least when you cheat like I did, you know you're going to pay for it. But if you go back on the diet, you can get feeling great again. So do it 100% right from the get-go. So first point, eat the foods you're familiar with, avoid everything on the no list. Second point, do it 100%. And the third point is kind of related to the first point in the sense of experimenting with new foods includes supplements. If you're currently taking supplements, then you already know how they affect you, so keep taking them. But don't immediately, day 1, 2, or even in the first couple of weeks on this diet, start adding in supplements, because there may be ingredients in those supplements that irritate your gut. I've taken plenty of supplements in my life that everybody says, take this, it's going to help you, you're going to feel amazing, and I take it and it makes me feel worse. So, do a really good lab test, so to speak, of this diet by literally just avoiding the no foods. Don't add supplements, don't try new foods, just eat what you know that you can from the yes list, and give that at least 2 weeks. I say 3 or 4 if you can, before you start experimenting. I tried too soon. I got really excited about being able to eat, muffins and pancakes and other things made of coconut flour and almond flour, because I'd eaten coconut products and almond products in small quantities and they didn't seem to bother me. But, replacing those flour-based products with those almond and coconut flour-based products seemed to bother my gut. So I really scaled back. So now even when Jan will make pancakes, I might eat half of one. If she makes the muffins, I just don't eat them anymore, the blueberry muffins she makes, because I'm just not going to risk it, One day, maybe when my gut has been healed, I go into remission, then I can experiment with those sorts of things. Speaking of foods I can't eat, like I've known for years that I can't eat spinach, broccoli, cauliflower, Brussels sprouts, and all sorts of really super healthy foods that everybody tells you to eat because it will heal your body. I can't eat them, or they will literally put me in the hospital. And that's not a figure of speech, it's the reality. My gut will get so much pain and bloating, and it puts me in the hospital. So on this diet, there were some new foods that I'd never tried before, and that was my fear. Is this going to put me in the hospital? Well, I've since learned I can't eat artichokes. Artichoke hearts, and the few other things that I've tried new, luckily so far so good, but like I said, get to a point where you can feel that avoiding the lectins with the safe foods that let yourself heal a little bit. Once you feel that improvement and you're like, okay, I think I'm actually improving and I'm feeling like every day I feel better, then you can start like adding something in, like a supplement or something else, to see if it helps you even more. If all of a sudden you start feeling bad, then you can say, maybe not a guarantee that was the cause, but let me avoid that for a while and see if I start feeling better again. So that's really what I've learned for starting this diet, is try and make it as little shock on your body as you can. Because trust me, if you're addicted to sugar and some of those other carb, things that you need to avoid from the no list, your body's going to go through enough shock alone, just detoxing from that stuff. The first 2 weeks for me were rough. And I pretty much during those first 2 weeks ate only foods that I know that I can tolerate without any complications. So that's what I'm trying to say. Give yourself 2-3 weeks to at least start the healing process before you get crazy experimenting and adding new things in. And hopefully in that time you'll start to feel better. But just stick with it. Try some of the recipes you can. Leave out an ingredient. Like there's a lot of ingredients that call for spinach. I just leave it out. Half the recipes in the book have spinach in it or kale, and I just don't put them in. I just find a substitute that I can put in. That's the bulk of my advice, is try and keep your diet as simple as I said in the beginning. Eliminate the no foods 100%. Eat the safe foods that you are comfortable with from the yes list. I learned in the 20 years that I've had this disease, years and years and years ago, I kept a food journal, and that's what really helped me narrow down which foods I could eat and couldn't eat. And I was surprised that a lot of them are some of the healthiest superfoods. So that's what you have to do on this diet. I hope this video was helpful to you, and good luck.